चल कर ले मिलन, अब चल कर ले मिलन, अब चल कर ले मिलन। प्रभु की प्राप्ति का मूल मंत्र है संपूर्ण समर्पण। है आत्मा चल प्रभु को सौंप दे तू सारा जीवन। ओ देख प्रभु तेरे निकट विराजे, ओ देख प्रभु तेरे निकट विराजे, कर ले अभिवादन ज्योति बिंदु परमात्मा से। है मेरी आत्मा अब चल कर ले मिलन, अब चल कर ले मिलन, अब चल कर ले मिलन। ज्योति बिंदु के प्रेम सिंधु में चल आज नहा ले। परम पिता का प्रेम पात्र बनकर तू शुभ वर पाले। ओ किरण किरण को निरख नयन से, ओ किरण किरण को निरख नयन से, हो जा मन में मगन ज्योति बिंदु परमात्मा से। है मेरी आत्मा अब चल कर ले मिलन, परमानंद का अनुभव कर तू, परमानंद का अनुभव कर तू, धन्य बना जीवन ज्योति बिंदु परमात्मा से। है मेरी आत्मा अब चल कर ले मिलन, 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 अब चल कर ले मिलन।
Om Shanti. Good morning. It's really special to be back in Durban after many years. I think it's been, what, 10, 12, 13 years maybe. Maybe the sound needs to be addressed. So Baba's Murli today is all about the particular difference between truth and falsehood. They can't, can you hear me now? Is that better? Maybe let's just okay, is that better?
Sure, thank you, Ma. Sound, please.
Sorry, we can't hear.
We are busy working on it.
Just got unmuted.
How can you hear me now? Maybe we could just make it a little lower. So this young man, who was the son of the sage, he went off to King Janak's kingdom. He arrived in the, the court area. And it was very rich, very richly decorated. And there was a banquet set up. And every type of variety of food you could imagine. And lots of beautiful women in the darbar. And this young man walked in and thought, how is this king going to teach me how to become a goddess? Anyway, he paid his respects to the king and said that his father, the sage, had sent him. So King Janak asked him to sit down at the dining table. And as he did, all these goodies started to be served to him. Food plate after food plate after food plate. And about halfway during the meal, he noticed a very big bell hanging above his head. So he's eating the food, but he's watching the bell. He's eating the food, but he's watching the bell because he's a bit concerned the bell's going to fall. So he finished his meal, and King Janak said to him, did you enjoy the meal? Now, he didn't want to upset the host. He says, yes, but I couldn't fully enjoy it because of this bell above my head. And King Janak replied to him, say, that's what a body will stress you. You may have the best of things around you, but your chit is caught up somewhere else, and so you are beyond even the taste of what you're doing. Now, this can be taken two ways. In the positive sense, when our chit is connected to Baba fully, in all relationships with Baba as we carry out our tasks. And then you can be with abundance, but you can remain beyond the attraction of what is beautiful around you. And then it can happen in the negative one, where your chit is not absorbed in Baba or your eternal self. You may be sitting to eat your meal and you're thinking about what you have to do tomorrow. Or if you're a businessman, you're thinking about your customers. And that moment of fraction, where the chit is disassociated from what is eternal and embedded in what is limited, starts to create a dissonance inside. You know, Baba today has defined truth as the intellect that always stays in companionship of the Father. And if you notice in the world today, there are so many different approaches we develop to accomplish our goals. For some, the task is more important, so they sacrifice the relationship. For others, the relationship is more important. Maybe they don't complete the task. And yet the wonder about Baba, Shiv Baba, is when he comes at this time, he honors both. He is available to us in every single relationship, and he finishes his job of creating. Right? He's got a massive job to do. And yet, if the children call him and say, Baba, come, I need a friend. Baba, come, I need a mother. He's there. He doesn't say, I can't be with you because I've got a job to do. And I was thinking today, when Baba, at the beginning of the Copper Age, Baba's part begins. It's the part of granting divine visions. And when that part begins, why does Baba not grant the vision of himself? Sorry? The intellect wouldn't grasp it, but we're fresh. We've just come from the awareness, broken the awareness of the soul. There's not enough vices, so maybe we would be able to understand. Maybe we're pure enough to actually accept light at that point. Now it's too much. Well, the question is, why is it at the beginning of the Copper Age, when the part of granting visions comes, why doesn't Baba grant vision himself?
The children have no soul conscious relationship with Baba and is through soul consciousness. Now they are body conscious. They want to see things physically.
Want to see things physically. But a child, if you just adjust his mind, if you take it off, do that. You know how they've accepted the mic? Just don't accept it, and you won't get the reverb. You go back to the mic, go to the mic. They're recording you. And just, you know how when you first start Zoom, they give you the option to take the mic or not? Don't take the mic. You won't get the reverb. If you just, you will, just click on that bit. That's it. And then ask it to. Can you reduce the volume? Yeah, just take the volume. Okay, there's no reverb. Okay. All right. I'm amazed that whoever you have bhavna for, at the beginning of the Copper Age, as we started searching, the power of attraction began. Attraction to form, attraction to image, right? Whoever you had bhavna for, that's what you had a vision of. You had bhavna for Ganesh, you had a vision of Ganesh. You had bhavna for Ram, you had a vision for Ram. Baba didn't come and say, excuse me, that's not God. I'm God. And there was something Baba was sustaining at that point in time, the truth. When you're sustaining truth, you're not sustaining form in any way. You understand? Truth is not about the right picture, the perfect form. It's about a much more subtle bhavna and a thread of bhavna that keeps an individual remain in their goodness. Because truth is not about you in relation to them. It's always about them. Now, God could have come at the beginning and said, guys, you got it all wrong. I'm here. He could have easily done that. And we were pure enough to accept light at that moment. In our impurity at this point, it's difficult because we built lots of layers. But he can't do that because the soul has to go through their own journey and the soul has to exhibit their own goodness according to the choices they make. He can't interfere in that process. But it's incredible, Baba's humility, that he doesn't interfere with his form. And I feel this is so subtle because truth for many people has become an image and a concept. The subtlety of the thread of bhavna that allows someone's goodness to emerge has been lost. You know, and truth then becomes about, you take subtle support of things to prove truth. Maybe inside you take the support of your specialities, your talents. Baba's there, but your specialities and talents to prove the truth. You step away subtly from the relationship with the Father. Maybe you take the support of someone else in your life. You know how they say, group around a common enemy. That's what happens. When you don't like someone, you go and find people that agree with you, make a little group, and make somebody into a common enemy. This is how Ravan's kingdom works. Because Ravan has one job: to come in between you and Baba, and to come in between each other and to turn each Brahmin away from each other. Ravan's policy is divide and rule. It's how it works. And it begins because in my intellect, I left the company of truth. It's very subtle because we have been seduced for 63 births by the golden deer of Ravan in so many different forms. And as we get seduced and we go down, the domino falls down that way, we seal that journey because the ego steps in to make you believe that what you're doing is the right thing. But in that moment, you can't see that you're under the influence of something. You know, the amazing thing yesterday, we were talking about the subject of peace and storms. And when you hold the company of truth and of Baba, you can accept everything around you. That's one of the signs of a true companionship, is you just allow the storm to be as it is, and you remain cocooned in the eye of the storm in companionship with Baba. Baba comforts your intellect. Baba keeps your intellect connected. And you can allow things to happen. Because this is not the time to fix the old world. This is not the time to fix anyone. This is the time to powerfully reclaim my Swarajya. Swarajya Adhikar, my self-sovereignty. I abandoned my kingdom because of some attraction. And that attraction has deceived me for birth after birth. And now Baba comes. Baba says, child, consider yourself to be a soul. And remember me. And the connection with Baba, it's not that you have Baba in your head as a point of light and you just hold a picture of a point of light. Yoga is not visualization. Yoga is deep fusion and connection, where you feel sustained and carried by the ocean of love, ocean of peace. You know, when I'm in India, everybody says to me, oh, sister, we see you on YouTube. Can we take a photo? I'm like, okay, you see me already on a TV screen and you want another little picture again? I'm in front of you. And so I said to everybody, I'm not going to take any photos with everyone. If you want a moment of drishti, we can just have a soul-to-soul connection. Why can't we create a culture of soul consciousness? The image is not truth. It's like you can have a beautiful image of an ocean and you can sit there saying, oh, that's so wonderful. You can please your eyes with that. But you're not going to experience the fullness of the ocean by just looking at the picture. You have to be in that place. You have to be in that moment. And once you've experienced that, you will never need the picture of another ocean. And so over a period of 63 births, one of the ways in which Ravan has seduced us is he's given us beautiful, attractive forms. Then we get impressed with people. We get trapped in their name and form. This one's so intelligent. This one's so talented. This one's so skilled. This one looks so beautiful. I want to look like them. But beauty is only skin deep. And this attraction has many repercussions. Because then service, the form of service changes. Service is about being impressed or making people impressed. Service is about the image. Service is about the written word. Service is about being Baba. It's about being with Baba so deeply that your presence draws souls to Baba. Your vibration makes souls feel they are under God's. Didi Manmohi, we were little and we would have meetings with Didi Manmohini. You know, she would say, Daddy would ask the question, how many new students have been born? And Didi would say, how many of those have you brought close to Baba? That's the truth. So it's not about the obvious. What we think service is and what Baba has planned is something completely different. And Baba wants the innocence of a pure. Baba doesn't want a clever intellect. Baba wants the intelligence of pure Bhavana, because that's the vehicle through which Baba can make the impossible possible. So it's a very beautiful, and it's really worth revising a number of times so that we can really release our intellect from the subtle threads of deception that have made us, you know, become distant, not just from Baba, but also from each other. So this is the Murli of the 25th of September, 2022. It's the revised date of the 24th of September, 1992. And the heading of the Murli, the particular difference between truth and falsehood. Is that the message coming through? Is that better? Maybe somebody can. Do you want to put this a little bit in front of me? Just move this here. Is the audio okay?
It's okay now.
It's okay now. Fine. So the heading of the Murli, the particular difference between truth and falsehood. Today, the Father, the Comforter of Hearts, has especially come to fulfill the desire of all his children and to celebrate a meeting with them. All the children are always celebrating a meeting in the Avyakt form anyway. Nevertheless, there is always the desire to celebrate an Avyakt meeting through the physical form as well. How nourishing were the meetings with Avyakt. God himself, pulled by the love of the children, to come into an old and pure body and to celebrate a meeting. So Baba says this is why the Father also has to come from the Avyakt into the corporeal. At this time, Bap Dada is seeing all the children in this land and the children abroad. In their minds, all are in Madhuban. You are here in your physical forms, and all the other innumerable children are celebrating a meeting in their subtle forms. Bap Dada is also giving all the children the return of their love. Wherever you are, in your remembrance, you are close to the Father's heart. Bap Dada is hearing the music of everyone's love. The Father knows that for the children, there isn't anyone to remember the children except the Father. And for the Father too, there is no one except you children. You remain constantly in the awareness that you belong to Baba and that Baba belongs to you. This awareness is easy and it also makes you powerful. What is the most eternal bond in the whole universe? That of soul and Baba. So Baba says, Baba Dada is hearing the music of everyone's love. The Father knows that for the children, there isn't anyone to remember the children except the Father. And for the Father too, there is no one except you children. You remain constantly in the awareness that you belong to Baba and that Baba belongs to you. This awareness is easy and it also makes you powerful. Such loving children who are embodiments of remembrance and never be weak, not just physically, but even in their dreams. To be weak, i.e. powerless, means that instead of my Baba, you have the consciousness of mine or something else. To have the awareness of my Baba means to celebrate a meeting. If instead of one, there is the consciousness of mine for two, what happens? What happens? So instead of one Baba and none other, it's maybe one Baba and one other. Right? What does that create? One is a meeting, a mela, and the other is a jamela. There's one too many in the relationship here. Some children think that Baba is theirs anyway, but they also have to say mine or one or two others. They say, I don't need anyone else, but I do need some support. However, what was your promise? Was it to belong to the one Father and none other? Or was it to belong to the one Father and one other? You become innocent then. In that one, there are many others included. This is why it becomes a jamela. Even if you just introduce one extra in, imagine the karmic threads that one has. God is karmatik. So you'll find your freedom with God. But the moment you introduce one more, you start to open the web of so many others. Because every human soul has karmic accounts with so many. So Baba says, in that one, there are many others included. And this is why it becomes a jamela. You can still find such toys in this old world, where it seems like one externally, but it is one inside another, inside another. I was talking about the Russian dolls, right? Even in one human, how many people does one human remember? So you've got so many people inside you. You open one, and there's another one inside it. When you open the second, there's another one inside it. This is also like such a toy. Physically, it is only one, but merged in the one are many others. So how can you celebrate a meeting, a mela, when you end up in jamela? and chaos. Will you just be caught up in the chaos, or will you celebrate? Don't think that it is just two. Apart from the Father, if you accept any other soul or even any facilities of matter as your support, even just in your thoughts, then this godly machinery works at a very fast speed in an automatic way. The second you make someone or something else your support, in that very second, the mind and intellect have stepped away from the Father. Because of stepping away from the Father, who is the truth, the intellect will begin to consider something false to be true and something wrong to be right. Very subtle. It begins to make wrong judgments. Then, no matter how much someone tries to explain that this is not right, the one with the power of falsehood will prove it to be correct and right things to be wrong to the one who is trying to explain. You know, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. The moment you let go of Baba's hand, you're subject to Murphy's law. You know what that is, right? Murphy's law. What's gone wrong has to go wrong, must go wrong, will go wrong. So you got to be so careful in every situation. Where does the domino of your intellect go towards first? Does it go to Baba first? Or does it go to the person first? Or does it go to the situation first? If it goes to Baba first, Baba's responsible. But if it touches another soul, or if it touches the situation, Baba's the detached observer. He can't do anything because your domino's fallen the wrong way. And you are subject to Murphy's law. Yeah, and then in that process, to try and prove yourself to be right, you'll invent lots of nice stories to tell yourself. It's a coping mechanism. They had to do this because of this and because of that and because of the other. Nice long story, but you're the one that's trapped in the web of that story. And you've just lost the shortcut to your peace and happiness. Just extended your suffering a bit more. So Baba says, you know, no matter how much someone tries to explain that isn't right, the one with the power of falsehood will prove it to be correct and right things to be wrong to the one who is trying to explain to him. Always remember that nowadays, according to the drama, it is the kingdom of falsehood. And that the ruling president of falsehood is Ravan. He has so many heads. That is, his power of falsehood is so great. His ministers and great ministers are also very great. Who are his ministers? The 5 vices, right? All the grandchildren linked to the 5 vices, right? His judges and lawyers are also very clever. This is why they give a variety of points for a false judgment in a very sweet way. This is how they are very clever in proving something false to be true. You know, and it takes its shape, it takes its expression in so many ways. Why does Baba say judges and lawyers? What do lawyers do? They have opinions, right? So that's another deflection mechanism. You create an opinion. What else? What do judges do? They pass judgment, right? So we subtly take the law in our hands. Oh, that shouldn't be like that. That should be like that. That shouldn't be like that. That should be like that. You begin a justification process. What else do lawyers do? They build a case. They create reasons for why something happened. So we reason, and that's when Maya and Ravan strengthen the rational mind. And as you work and you get trapped in the rational mind, which is the faithful servant, you lose the gift of the spiritual connection. You lose the truth essence of how to stay stable in your peace and purity and have the wisdom to surf the storm. You get trapped in the storm. So then Baba says, however, what is the particular difference between truth and falsehood? Victory for falsehood is temporary because the kingdom of falsehood is temporary. Defeat for truth is temporary, and victory for truth is permanent. Those who are victorious on the basis of falsehood become happy just for that time. So you're pleased with yourself. You proved a point, you made up a point, you've done it. But this is only temporary. For the little time that they celebrate in happiness, they consider themselves to be right. However, when the temporary period of falsehood comes to an end, and when the victory for truth is revealed, to the extent they celebrated in pleasure under the influence of falsehood, so there is accordingly 100-fold repentance for the falsehood because you step away from the Father. It's very deep. You can't step away from the Father to prove a point, which is what happens. Because you may please yourself by temporarily having proved it, but at some point you will realize the loss because you stepped away from the Father. To prove what? Chickpea. So Baba said, let me repeat the sentence again. However, when the temporary period of falsehood comes to an end, and when the victory for truth is revealed, to the extent they celebrated in pleasure under the influence of falsehood, so there is accordingly 100-fold repentance for the falsehood because you stepped away from the Father. You didn't step away physically. In a physical way, you consider yourself to be knowledgeable, but you step away with your mind and you're no longer manmanapa. Your intellect was focused on the person in front of you or the situation in front of you. To step away from the Father means that instead of becoming full of the right to all attainments for all time, you only claim half a right. Some children think that they should at least celebrate the pleasure and happiness of victory in the kingdom of falsehood, with the power of falsehood for this time now. Because who has seen the future? Who will see anything anyway? We will have forgotten, and everyone else will also have forgotten. However, that is a judgment based on falsehood. The future is the shadow of the present. The future cannot be created without the present. A soul under the influence of falsehood can swing in the swings of the temporary happiness of receiving name, respect, honor, etc. But such a soul cannot swing in the swing of supersensuous joy. It doesn't matter what happens. Our job is to stay close to Baba and then discern what to do based on the feeling that we have with Baba. If we act alone, we will be harassed. And it's so subtle. Because, you know, when I find in service what's happening at this point in time, the name of ego uses the name of service. Ego uses the name of service to get its job done. When you are not connected with the Father, you can't discern your path. So you start investing yourself in everything. You're in this group and that group and that group and that group, and you're invested in, yes, it's good service because you're using your intellect and you're being knowledgeable in everything. But you're not experiencing supersensuous joy inside. Very subtle. Ego works in very subtle ways. So we're being good, but we're not being true and we're not being real. And that's the basis of greatness. So Baba says the future cannot be created without the present. A soul under the influence of falsehood can swing in the swings of the temporary happiness of receiving name and respect and honor and attention, etc. But such a soul cannot swing in the swing of supersensuous joy. That soul can celebrate the pleasure of temporary name, respect, and honor, but he cannot receive love and blessings from the hearts of the soul. He can attain superficial love, but not respect from the heart. He can receive temporary honor, but cannot experience the honor from the Father of being seated on his heart. Through the companions of falsehood, he can attain name, but cannot claim a name on Bhakta's heart because he has stepped away from Bhakta. Let alone the future, that is understood anyway. There is so much difference between the present attainments received from truth and falsehood. To make one another belong to you means to make falsehood your support. That is such a jamela. You would say for the sake of saying it, it isn't anything else, but sometimes I need a little support. However, to break a promise means to get caught up in a jamela. You know how we take sides? What is the basis of corruption in our governments today? Nepotism. Well, you take your friends and relatives in, you take sides, the ones you're close to. That's what happened. Well, Baba's referring to this. You take support. Not of the truth and the directions and the knowledge and Baba's presence, but a human. And it can work both ways. It can work because of attachment, is you don't have enough faith in yourself and your relationship with Baba, so you need a little support. I'm getting old, who's going to look after me? Need some help. How can I manage service? I don't have hands. You don't talk to Baba. Say, Baba, okay, find someone. Let's look for someone. And so you deceive yourself, yeah, I need some support. And the other thing happens is when you don't like someone, then you also need support to prove the fact that why you don't like them. Yeah? This is how we create jamelas. Very clever. We have created so many games in relationships, it's unbelievable. So Baba says, to make one another belong to you means to make falsehood your support. That is such a jamela. You would say, for the sake of saying it, it isn't anything else, but sometimes I need a little support. However, to break a promise means to get caught up in Janela. Did you promise that one Baba is yours and that there can sometimes be another? Is a second one allowed? Was that what you wrote? Even if you take the support of temporary name, respect, and honor, or of a person, or any physical possession, when you had promised there would be none other, where did the other come from? All of that is the cleverness to trap you in the Jamela of the kingdom of falsehood. The Father says, the children know me number-wise, as I am and what I am. In the same way, you don't always know Ravan, the ruler of falsehood, as he is what he is. Sometimes you forget, and sometimes you know him. He is a ruler, and therefore that power would be no less. Whether he is false or true, it is his kingdom. Therefore, check yourself, not others. You know, one of the most amazing mirages that Ravan creates is he makes you think about others. He makes you just look at another, think about another, and then very quietly you're drawn into, oh, who are them? Let me help them. And the ego steps in the form of the rescuer. And next thing you know, you've kind of entangled yourself in someone else's private account. This is how Maya and Ravan, you know, create very beautiful mirages. So Baba says, therefore, check yourself and not others. Nowadays, everyone has become clever at checking others. But that says, become your own checker and the maker of others. However, what do? You become the checker of others and the maker of many stories. He's so sweet, eh? He's so cute. You become the checker of others and the maker of many stories. What story of all the children does Bap Dada hear every day? The book of stories is very big. So check yourself. When you begin to check others, they become long stories. Whereas when you check yourself, all the stories end, and there would then only be the one true life story of the practical Bhagwan Ki Leela in your own life. Everyone says, Baba, I love you a lot. And then Baba says, do you just say it, or do you truly have that love? What would you say? Sometimes you just say it, and at other times you have that love for him. The Father has given the practical proof of the Father's love. Whatever you are, however you are mine. Whatever you are, however you are mine. However, you children now have to give the proof. And what proof do you have to give? The Father says, whatever you are, however you are mine. So what will you say? What will you say? What will you say? You are everything for me. You are my world. It should not be that there is a little of something else too. You have love for the Father, but you sometimes get influenced by the kingdom of falsehood. Acha. To all the true children everywhere who belong to the true Father and who recognize the real truth, to the elevated souls who emerged in love, to the powerful souls who constantly fulfill all their promises, to the powerful souls who recognize the truth, to all those who remain free from obstacles with remembrance and service, to the children who remain constantly in the company of and stay close to the Father, love, remembrance, and namaste. Bapdada meeting Madhuban residents. How much practical and visible fruit do the Madhuban residents receive? What is the speciality of Madhuban that cannot be found anywhere else? Those who live on the elevated field of action always follow. The speciality of Madhuban is that it is the special field of action of Father. It is such an honor, not just to go to Madhuban as a student, but also to serve in Madhuban. Because that's when you sow the seeds of elevated action. Because that was the field of action. So in the early days, we didn't have that many laborers. After Murli, all of us would go chopping the vegetables. Daddyji would come and sit down. We would then clear the grains. In half an hour, 40 minutes, vegetables of the day are chopped, the grains are done, and then we all go have breakfast together. It was such a joy to experience that family of being together. So Baba says, the speciality of Madhuban is that it is the special field of action of Father Brahma. So the residents of Madhuban are following the Father in every action they perform. On the field of action, actions are the speciality. So are you following in actions? Are you following the Father in all the actions you perform from Amrit Veda until nighttime? The residents of Madhuban have extra power of remembrance on the field of action. Is that visible in your actions, or is it going to be visible in your actions? What would you say? Do you look at yourself? Bring every step in front of you. Getting up, sitting, walking, speaking, coming into contact and relationship with others. Are you following Father Brahma's actions in everything? This is the benefit of the field of action, is it not? So are you taking that much benefit? What do the Shaktis think? Those in Madhuban can take the benefit of the field of action. Others have to come here to take that, whereas you have already received it. It is the land of blessings and the land of actions. That's why it's so important to make a pilgrimage to Madhuban. You know, you can have a thought for your effort, and it might take you a whole year to accomplish that here. But in Madhuban, the moment you have a pure thought, it starts to manifest. That land is blessed. And so the efforts you make in Madhuban are blessed, and it makes your journey easier. So Baba says, it is the land of blessings and the land of actions. So is each action worthy of blessings, so that only blessings emerge from the lips of anyone who sees that action? This is known as receiving blessings from the land of blessings. Even if you are performing ordinary actions, let some speciality be visible in those ordinary actions. This is the speciality of Madhuban. This is not. The special elevated hope that Father Brahma has in those who stay on the field of action is that every Brahmin soul in Madhuban, every elevated soul, becomes a mirror of the actions performed by Father Brahma. So what do you see in the mirror? This is what is visible, is it not? When you stand in front of a mirror, would you see an identical image of yourself? Or would you see someone else? So Father Brahma's actions should be visible in the mirror of your actions. All of you always say that you are fortunate, and you are. However, let Father Brahma's actions be visible in every action of yours. Who will claim this certificate and when? You are going to claim it, are you not? Or have you already claimed it? But those who have claimed the certificate of Father Brahma's actions being visible in their every action, their words would be like the words spoken by Father Brahma. Their way of sitting, moving, seeing, and interacting would all be like those of the Father. Have you claimed such a certificate? Those who want to claim it, raise your hands. Nobody wants to claim it? Those who want to raise it? You just do some exercise for a moment. Yeah, that's right. Get the blood flowing. Yeah, you can raise the other hand too. Yeah, he's watching. That's it. Great. So Baba, yes, they're going to claim it in Durban. So Baba says, those who want to claim it, raise your hands. This is also good. Before speaking about it, they would first do it practically. However, you must keep the aim that your every action is equal to that of the Father's. It is easy to follow Father Brahma, is it not? To become incorporeal means to remain constantly stable in the incorporeal stage. Instead of that, it is easier to follow actions. So Father Brahma is giving you an easy task to do, not something to do. So, all of you keep this aim that whoever sees you in Madhuban, Father Brahma's actions should be visible. In actions, you can make Brahma omnipresent. That's how the memorial began. Wherever they look, they see Brahma's equal. Is that possible? The praise of Madhuban means the praise of the Madhuban residents. It's not the praise of the walls of Madhuban. It is the praise of the residents of Madhuban. You hear the praise of Madhuban from everywhere, every day, do you not? Whose praise is it when they praise the Madhuban residents? It is the praise of all of you, isn't it? You have the intoxication that you are the residents of Madhuban. Just as you have this intoxication, so let this intoxication also be visible that you are those who are equal to Father Brahma, who are following the Father. Acha. And Baba's so sweet. He's saying, are all of you content? Do you need any salvation? You are sitting in the land of salvation. You are sitting here so carefree. You do all the work with your bodies, but otherwise you receive everything ready-made. Those who don't work with their bodies are made to exercise. You are lucky that you don't have to exercise. Your hands and feet are working all the time. The more hard work someone does, very nice, the safer he or she remains from Maya and physical illness. The intellect remains busy, does it not? Nothing works in a wasteful way. Those who are always busy are very lucky. Therefore, do not keep yourself free. Once you keep yourself free, then you think, okay, I need to go and sign up to the gym and exercise. And if you come to Baba, Baba will say, come into the kitchen and wash some pots. Right? At least you're using your time and energy in a worthwhile way. So Baba says, do not keep yourself free. I have been doing this for a long time now. Let me become free. Done enough. To remain busy is a sign of having the fortune. You are fortunate, are you not? Keep yourselves constantly busy. Acha. Now do something practically and show Baba. Do you understand? What speciality of Father Brahma did you see on his face? He had a smile and he was also stern. Okay, so Baba kind of rephrases that a bit. He says there was maturity, gambirta, right, in Hindi, and also a smile. So there's a depth, but with the depth there's lightness. To have maturity means to be introverted. Along with that, he also had an entertaining nature. You know, when Daddy Janki sent Baba a letter, she was in Pune, and she sent Baba a letter. She said, Baba, you know, things are a bit slow here, and I don't have many hands, so service is not increasing. And you know what Baba did? He killed a few flies, put it in an envelope, and sent it to him. Said, what are you doing? Are you sitting there killing flies? Do something. You know what I mean? Is there no excuse and reason? Do something and send news to Baba. So Baba would not tolerate any excuses. The sign of his introversion was that his constantly being an image of maturity, lost in the depths of the ocean. His face was that of being lost in churning and thinking, and even then he was always smiling. You saw both these qualities on his face. Therefore, let your faces too be copies of Father Brahma's face. Let Father Brahma be visible in your face and in your form. Because Madhuban was Brahma Baba's service place and the place where he acted. Therefore, let the same acts and service be seen in those who live on this land. Constantly keep the lamp of this hope ignited. This is the hope that Father Brahma has in you. Now celebrate Deepavali in this way. Ignite the lamp of this one hope Baba has in you. When each of you ignites this Deepa lamp, it will be the rosary of lights. If one or two lamps in a circle of lights go out, does it look nice? If even one or two lamps are flickering, does it look nice? This is why all of you lamps have to remain ignited in this Deepmala. All of you residents of Madhuban are a completely different track. I was saying, all of you residents of Madhuban should be justices. self-justice, not just of others. Before you judge anything, you should first judge yourself. Your time and the time of others won't then be wasted. Madhuban is a peace palace. When you have peace of mind and peace on your lips, the rays of peace will spread from Madhuban, the peace palace. Everyone who is distressed by their own self asks all of you who live in the peace palace for alms of peace. Your rays of peace have not yet reached those who are making preparations for destruction. This is why there is a tug of war. Sometimes you have peace, and sometimes there is peacelessness. In order to pacify them, your rays of peace from the peace palace to reach them. Only then will their intellects make the final decision. They will destroy everything. Everyone will then return home peacefully to the land of peace. So forget about the bombs. You know what creates peacelessness in today's world. Therefore, now become great donors and bless such beggars with this great donation. Bapdada always considers you residents of Madhuban to be the close jewels who will bring souls of the world close to Bapdada. Therefore, give this proof. When all of you copies are exactly the same as Brahma Baba, the unlimited bombs will be dropped. Then there will be the celebration of fireworks and also the coronation. Now fix the date for this. That date will be when each of you becomes a photocopy of Brahma. So the more you delay arriving at your completion, the more you're delaying destruction and you're elongating suffering. You residents of Madhuban can do whatever you want. Acha, so what are all of you thinking about? Not only does Bap Dada have a camera for the thoughts in the mind, but Bap Dada can clearly see what is going on in each one's mind. Even now, scientists are trying to invent a camera that can pick up someone's line of thoughts inside. Those poor, helpless scientists are making so much effort. Whilst they're trying to invent such things, they will be left out, and you will make use of the facilities they have already created for you. So be careful. Bapdada can turn on the TV in the subtle region and see exactly what's going on in your mind. So you can't hide anything. Acha, blessing. May you protect yourself from bad and wasteful company with the power of recognition and become a powerful soul. May you protect yourself from bad and wasteful company with the power of recognition and become a powerful soul. Some children protect themselves from bad company, but they are influenced by wasteful company. Because, why? Because wasteful things are entertaining and externally attractive. We all like to listen to a good story, right? Spiced up. This is why Bapdada's teaching is, do not listen to anything wasteful. Do not speak anything wasteful. Do not do anything wasteful. Do not see anything wasteful. Do not think anything wasteful. Become so powerful that no color, the color of the Father's company can influence you. With the power of recognition, recognize bad and wasteful company in advance and transform it. You will then be said to be a powerful soul. In order to experience lightness constantly, keep a balance of being a master child. In order to experience lightness constantly, keep a balance of being a master and child. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. How would you describe that, Murli, in one word? Awesome. Huh? Powerful. What was your experience of the Murli in one word? Huh? Open. Truth. A reality check. Baba was doing little surgery, wasn't he? Yeah, because only Baba can tell you this. Baba can go deep inside you and so passionately reveal where you're going off track. You know, yes. Okay.
You said that the image is not. And visualization is not real. Is it real? It's illusion.
Connection. So brother is asking, I had mentioned that image is not truth and yoga is not visualization. Yoga is connection. And it's merging, feeling of being merged in something. So what was the question again? Explain that a bit more. Well, think about it. When you sit down to meditate, what's happening? Especially when we're thinking of, oh, I want to be an angel. We visualize an angel with wings, right? But it's okay. As long as the beautiful image is there, you feel good. But when the image goes, do you feel like an angel? You don't. Sometimes when people sit to meditate, they're seeing the soul. Okay, I, the soul, am sitting here on a point of light. I'm sitting here and now I'm traveling through the roof, up above, through the sky. I'm going into a red world. It's like a nice movie in your head. We're really good at watching movies. And so you enjoy and the feeling is stimulated because of the image. But when the movie is finished, your sanskars haven't changed. Because yoga is a sadhana. It's an exercise of your intellect. It's concentration power. It's being a detached observer. It's becoming bodiless, making your intellect bodiless. So you can stay in the realm of remaining unlimited. You don't need an image then. Does that make sense? And so deeply understanding what yoga is. And Baba gives us so many practices. The full stop, the incorporeal stage, Avyakt stage, the detached observer, the bodiless stage. And the Avyakt stage is not the stage of visualizing an angel. It is the stage when you experience the depth of the specialness of who you are. Have you ever sat in yoga and just gone into the depth of your peace? I am peace and soul. Just spend 1 hour like this. I am a soul that is a vast ocean. Just gone into the feeling of that until you melt in love. because it's the specialities of those qualities that make you an angel. And then when you smile with that energy, he looks like an angel. You haven't done anything, and somebody says, she looks like an angel. It's not the image, but we have so much been trained to craft truth, either through words or through an image, that we forget to be truth. And that's why, when the Gopikas, Krishna had, was it Uddhav? What was his best friend? Uddhav? No, Sudama is one thing. There was an intellectual, who was always analyzing what Krishna said and proving, and then there's the Gopikas that fell in love. And so Uddhav went to the Gopikas and said, you have to understand what Krishna is saying, and the love is everything. And the Gopikas are saying, well, we're living it and experiencing it. Come and join us. So what is truth? Truth is being in the moment and living it. And when you're in truth, you are connected with everything. You don't disconnect. And it's incredible how much you can accomplish everything you need to do, whatever it is, without disconnecting. This is where the whole balance, in my own experience, the balance of the task and the relationship both become one. Because you realize that all the resources around you are there to help you move forward in everything you have to do. So how can you disconnect? And it's amazing that what I find, when you live in the truth, you can be with everyone. When you don't live in truth, you have a tendency to isolate. How it is. So, we have to powerfully now. We have Baba as our back. Baba as our guiding light. Baba who's saying, I'm taking all burdens from you. Just stay with me. Just stay with me. And even when you feel weak, when you feel, Baba, I don't have any strength, you call Baba. Use the right of all relationships with Baba. And you watch Baba will become present. Don't indulge the weak thought. Don't indulge the separation. Don't indulge the, Baba, I just want to go to sleep now. Just go that one step further and be with Baba. And you'll watch how Baba carries you through that feeling of weakness into a place of clarity and strength. Don't give up on Baba. And when you don't give up on Baba, you will never give up on each other. Never. Okay. So let's offer bhog to Baba. These are the last days of Shraddha. As we remember the ancestor souls that have seeded this yajna, sacrificed their mind, body, wealth, and we're eating the fruits of their renunciation. Let's reconnect with Baba, and we reconnect with those ancestor souls. That we're not alone. Baba is there, and all the ancestor souls are watching. Say something.